So, let's go over to the NFL here. Playoffs start, and pretty much in the weirdest fashion. Obviously, that final game actually did go into overtime.
Yeah,
with the Chargers and Raiders, and
the Raiders were going to let them tie it, have it be a tie.
Was that really confirmed, or is that because I'd seen reports on both, but I'm like, what is the benefit of letting a division rival go into the playoffs?
I just don't think they were even going to like risk it. I just don't think they wanted to even like. They were just going to say, you know what, it is what it is. You know, at this point, we're just going to let it be, and that was that. I mean, that's what I. They were. Who was it? Eckler at the end of the game was out there talking to somebody.
I saw, but like in the lip sync, the body language obviously suggests he was annoyed about something. But like, I don't. Was that confirmed that it was really about?
I think they were and even the Raiders coach, he was like in the press conference, he didn't outright admit to it, but he was just like, yeah, I mean, we definitely discussed it, and it would definitely was an option. So I think they definitely were going to do it. They're not going to say that for sure outright, but I think they were gonna sit on the tie.
Yeah, and
you never know what could happen. I mean, they could get blocked or something.
Yeah, I know that's the one thing basically that jumps out. But
you know, and you're in if you literally don't do anything, you're in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was obviously a interesting way to close up the regular season, adding that extra week 18. But it creates a playoff pool that may not be super interesting or competitive this first. I mean, if I look at it, like initially, I'm like, man, this could just be the team sweep. Like, if you look at it up and down, I'm like, what game to you here jumps out the most as the most competitive, or where an away team might actually pull.
Patriots Bills, I think could be, just because they beat them once. I know it was
Bills are too inconsistent. You just never know.
You never know what you're going to get from the Bills. Bengals Raiders, I guess, because Raiders are hot right now, and the Bengals haven't been here in a long time. I do think the Bengals are a better team. And then, at 49ers Cowboys, I think I might consider picking the 49ers there. I don't like Garoppolo at all. I don't think he's going to lead them to anything this year, but the Cowboys are also kind of an inconsistent team. We just kind of Jekyll and Hyde every once in a while. So
both three seeds are basically the Bills and the Cowboys. You're just like, you just don't know what team you're going to get week in, week out.
Right. Everything else though on here, other than I guess the Monday
Rams game, Cardinals. I said the Rams Cardinals.
The Monday game.
But the Cardinals have been so like crap.
They've been terrible lately. I mean, they were the best team in football for a while, and now it's like, what are they? Mm-hmm. Obviously, losing Hopkins, it certainly did a huge number on their team and their, what they look like going forward. The Rams are weird too, though, because Stafford's probably, he's got a litany of injuries right now. Obviously, he's dealing with, and he hasn't played the greatest lately. So there's a few games in there, but I could see it just going all chalk and everybody just taking care of business straight up. But
if you had to pick the most confident game where you were willing to bet, if you had to bet $2,500 of your own money on a game, what game are you betting at just a win on the winner?
Bucs, Eagles.
You don't think the Bucs have any chance
of losing?
Well, to win, the Bucs to upset the Eagles to upset the Buccaneers.
I think they have zero chance.
It's hard because it's still the NFL, and
I know it's the NFL, but I don't think
Hurts had games where he's just like immaculate.
I know I know he has. I think the Bucs, a bunch of weird stuff has happened with that team lately, but I think they're going to turn it on here. I think, kind of like they did last year, although their first, their wild card game last year, it was like they were kind of shaky and they had to kind of pull that one out. I don't think Brady is going to lose to that Eagles team. I trust Tom Brady over any other quarterback.
Yeah, and so you get that. That's why they'd definitely be one of two teams. And I would say Chiefs Steelers
Yeah.
I
I don't know. Big Ben might have some magic left, man.
I was getting that's the thing, but like Ben, I think Ben looks like Drew Brees this time.
He
This
looks
time of
really
year.
bad. He looks
He's
really
been
bad.
bad. The defense has really kept him in a lot of games. Mike Tomlin's had some pretty good
Najee Harris
that work for Ben Roethlisberger, but I just think the Chiefs' defense has been too good on that one. Offense can be explosive, whether it's Derek Gore or Darrell Williams carrying the ball. It's like, I don't.
McKinnon has been
Jet McKinnon too. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think that game I'm more confident on just because Ben Roethlisberger consistently has had no arm.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think that lack of arm doesn't, run with the offense.
He's not gonna. I mean, he's not gonna go win them a game that they need to go win anymore. He's just even like 2 years ago, like he would have games where it's like he went out and made all the plays, and I mean, you'd be like, man, Roethlisberger threw for like 440 yards a day. You know what I mean? But he can't do that anymore. I memean,
but in the same breath, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
He can go do that still.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 44 years young, basically.
Yeah.
He threw more touchdowns than his age once again this year.
Yep.
So
yep.
It's just
5,000 yards too.
Yeah, just a crazy career. Obviously adding week 18 helps. But regardless, still an insane year. So let's go through some of these games here. I'll have you pick this first one, and we'll do Raiders at Bengals.
I am going to pick the Bengals in this game. This one's kind of tough just because the Raiders are hot, and I like Derek Carr. I really like the way he's playing, but I like the way Burrow's playing a little bit better. They probably have an argument for the best three receivers in the NFL right now, with Boyd and Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
So and they're just diverse. They've gotten a lot better. Their defense is improving. This could be a little bit of a shootout though. Could see it going down that road. But I'm going to go Bengals here. Yeah.
So I mean, Bisaccia is definitely with what the Raiders organization as a whole has dealt with this year.
Right.
And able to squeeze it in on the final field goal leg of Daniel Carlson last game of the whole season. In squeezing that in that playoff spot, the 5 seed of all seeds, just impressive. They've dealt with a lot of stuff, and obviously you talked about how they are one of the hottest teams in football in the last 4 weeks. So it's hard to not pick the Raiders here, but the Bengals have been explosive on offense and you have Joe Mixon to that group, the receiving ability of Chris Evans out of the backfield. Joe Burrow's been money. Even the defense is getting pressure with Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard. So I think I'm also going to go with the Bengals here in this game. But, again, I think this could be like a 34-27 type of deal.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch some of these games. Definitely.
I'll pick this one here, and I'll pick it's 49ers at Cowboys. And I'm gonna stick with the Cowboys. Despite the 49ers also playing pretty well as of late. It's just I don't think Garoppolo is the quarterback I'm relying on to take me to that next level against a Cowboys team that, especially early on in the year, was one of the best in football. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like some of the coaching decisions McCarthy's made this year. And sometimes it takes so long for that run game to get moving with Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard. And so again, it's the playoffs. You never know what happens. And you always feel like some 6 seed's going to pull it off. And part of me really makes me think if it's the 49ers upset the Cowboys, but I'm going to stick with with the confidence of the Cowboys here.
I'm actually going to pick the upset here. I'm going to go with 49ers. Close game though. but I just think the 49ers have kind of figured out a way to become more of an explosive offense with the things they're doing with Debo. Garoppolo's been better. They got Kittle back a few weeks ago, and that changes that team. And still running out a bunch of different running backs. I just think they've kind of just settled down and just said, all right, like we know Garoppolo, maybe he isn't somebody that's going to really put us over the top, but we can't keep flip-flopping this Trey Lance stuff back and forth. We obviously devoted an early pick to him, so we got to, at least try to get him sometime. But, we just got to kind of ride with Jimmy G at least for this year and see what happens. So, and I think that's helped them kind of settle down and try to figure out what they're good at and kind of hone in on that. And I just don't love anything about the Cowboys. I know, it's like, man, look at some of these numbers they're putting up. Dak's putting up especially, but I don't love that team for some reason. I just don't know. I can't really put my finger on why. I'm just like, man, I'm not thinking that they're like some dark horse Super Bowl, because every year it's like, man, they could go, look at this team, but I don't trust anything about that team. Coaching, quarterback play, anything. I just don't trust it. So.
Yeah, I mean, thinking the Cowboys is them just winning this game and losing next round. I don't think they're a long.
I don't love that at all. I mean, I like some of their players a lot, but
and I actually think that, like we talked about, how the Bengals have a power source of wide receivers. I think the Cowboys have that same thing, and honestly, on paper, it should probably even be better with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, and then you get Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, who I think are better running backs than Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine and Chris Evans. So it's like, they have that. And then you even line up Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow, and they're probably quarterback talent-wise really close to each other as well. So to me, they're similar teams, just in the opposite conference. And I don't expect the Bengals to make a far run either in these playoffs. But I think the winner of this team pretty much wins this, and they're done. That's kind of how I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
Let's take a look at the Patriots at Bills. Number 6 seed Patriots. Mac Jones the Patriots were the number 1 team in the AFC for a little bit there, and then they've kind of gone cold. And then the Bills are just team inconsistent. So what are you thinking here?
I'm gonna pick the Bills. I think the Patriots kind of have a team that I know, like, they can kind of do what Belichick wants this year and just kind of play a different style that really the Bills don't want to play. But I don't think that the Patriots are going to be able to enforce that as heavily as they were able to in that first game. Obviously, the weather was crazy that game, and I'm sure it's not going to be great this weekend. But I think the Bills just have a little bit too much firepower that the Patriots can't really match. I don't think it's going to be crazy high scoring, but I think Josh Allen will make enough plays. Stephon Diggs, I think those guys will make enough plays to kind of put it out of reach. I like what the Patriots have done this year. Mac Jones, I really love what he's been able to accomplish. I just don't see the firepower on that team right now. So.
Yeah, this is another tough game, but this is one of those 6-3 seeds that I think I'm going to run with the 6 seed on this one. I'm going to take the Patriots. It's just I think I'm more certain of Bill Belichick's experience in these situations and what he can do with a team of third graders. And I think this team this year, especially defensively, was better than a team of third graders. With me not knowing what kind of team the Bills are going to ride out with. Obviously, Devin Singletary's been really nice running the ball lately. Josh Allen has made some incredible throws under pressure. But outside of, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox has been kind of inconsistent. Cole Beasley's been inconsistent. Isaiah McKenzie is kind of just there a couple of games. Gabriel Davis, you just don't know what other players are going to step up on that offense. And I think that defense is going to throw too much at them. So I'm going to take Bill Belichick's Patriots in this game.
All
right. And then Cardinals at Rams. I am going to lean towards taking the Rams. I think Matt Stafford needs this game really bad. But the problem is, like you said, he's got a litany of injuries he's kind of been dealing with. And this is kind of par for the course for Matthew Stafford over a long season, is his body's going to break down after a while. And like we saw how the Rams and Stafford were really great in the first 8 weeks of the season. And now we're kind of seeing the mistakes are coming. And part of that is, his body's banged up a little bit. So he's working with limited, I guess, mobility, and a lot of his shoulder, his back. It's not the same mechanics that he shows in the beginning of the season. So I'm worried about this pick, but the Cardinals have been such an anomaly with how they've fallen apart this year. Really, I think one win in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah,
it's wild. And so they
in the playoffs.
It was they almost had that 1 seed locked up for a while there. And I think Stafford just needs this win. I think he needs to try to start cementing his opportunities when he gets to the playoffs with the Rams, because he was that quarterback with the Lions that couldn't get that playoff win.
Yeah,
been to 3 or 4 playoff games, didn't win a single one, and I think this fresh start with the Rams and him kind of being that missing piece, or McVay at least believes he was that missing piece of the quarterback situation last year where they had to play Walford and Goff, and I just I don't know. I think Stafford has to win this game. So I think there's so much more riding on it for the Rams here to win this game and beat the division rival Cardinals. So I'm going to pick the Rams.
Yeah, I actually am going to go the same direction. I just don't like the Cardinals. I don't know. The vibe around that team is just not great right now. Obviously, Kyler could take over and, they could end up winning. I could easily see it. I'm not super confident in the pick, but yeah, I mean, kind of for the same reasons though. I think so hopefully he's healthy enough and can sort of figure it out. And yeah, I mean, healthy enough to kind of limp into the second round is kind of the whole idea here. I mean, I know it sucks to kind of talk about it that way, and I'm a Stafford fan for sure, but I mean, the only benefit of them losing, I guess, would be Lions draft picks, I guess, but at this point, I don't think it matters. So I think I'm going to take the Rams. I like the Rams defense too. I think a lot of what they can do is it can really shut down what the Cardinals are able to do with Aaron Donald and everything. So I'm definitely going to go Rams here.
All right, number 7. Let's hear your thoughts on. We kind of talked about these games already as the kind of the surefire games, but number 7, Steelers, and number 2, Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick the Chiefs in that one. If we picked it, I think it's probably the one I'm most confident in. Or in its argument for first, just because, the Steelers story is really cool this year that, Roethlisberger, they got him back to the playoffs. It was the last season, and they basically, somehow they got in the playoffs. It was crazy. But, they really came together at the end of the year and figured some things out. And yeah, I think Tomlin's put together some great game plans for Ben and what he can do now, but he's not what he was even. I wouldn't even say he's not even what he was last year. I mean, and he's not.
It is crazy how fast the decline happens. We started to see the decline with, like we talked about, Drew Brees, and that was the same thing when they made it to the playoffs. It's like Drew Brees is like you want to give Drew Brees this opportunity, but he can't throw the ball.
They can't do anything. I mean,
I don't really thought Jameis was the guy to play in the playoffs, and yeah. But
I don't know if Ben is fully that far down as far as not being able to throw the ball, but it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about. I was watching the Monday night game the other night when they were playing, and I was watching the Peyton and Eli broadcast for a minute, and Peyton was just like shaking his head at some of the throws, and he's like, "Yeah." Well, there was
he kept alluding to old Ben could have gotten that.
Yeah, and he did. There was one where he was like backpedaling in the red zone and like tried to force a throw in there, and it just didn't didn't make it there, bounced in basically. And like, yeah, tough throw because he's basically throwing off his back foot on his heels. But he was like, yeah, I mean, old Ben could have just muscled that in there. And he's like, he just can't do that anymore. So he's like, he's got to be able to, set his feet and throw. And then he can make some throws. But he's like, he just can't play. But that was never Roethlisberger's game. His game was, outside the pocket and making some difficult throws and throws that, maybe are not textbook as far as mechanics and everything like that. And that's always been his game. So I don't think you can coach that out of him now, 20 years into his career. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a cool story, but I don't think this game's going to be all that close in the end. I could see the Chiefs winning by double digits pretty easily. So,
yeah, I think this game's I almost want to say like 30-13. I mean, TJ Watt's going to be a menace over on the edge. Sure. Obviously tied Michael Strahan's sack record this year.
Yeah, that's what you're worried about if you're Chiefs, like just TJ Watt wrecking the game. Because he could. I mean, he definitely could.
Yeah, and they got Alex Highsmith on the other edge, and Devin Bush, and they got players that can kind of explore the field at a crazy fast pace. The defense is still quick. Minkah Fitzpatrick's good in the secondary, so there are pieces there, but all of those pieces I feel like have to have their best game for this to have any merit for upset. So I'm extremely confident in the Chiefs in this game, despite them, unless they somehow go back to their dud ways of the first half of the season. But I don't see the way they've been playing as of late. I think they've kind of built some mojo, and the defense has played as well as it has in the last 5 years. So I'm going to take the Chiefs pretty confidently on this one. And then we'll close out here with the Buccaneers as the 2 seed and number 7 seed being right.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. See, I pulled the website and now I'm like reading other stuff and I've lost it. Oh well, we talked about this game already kind of. Jalen Hurts has had games where he's immaculate, and then he's had games where it's like, all right, well, I guess they're gonna have to run Miles Sanders 8 times for 60 yards and never run him again. The Eagles' game plan with Sirianni has not been a good coach, despite them getting this far. Obviously, like they don't look like they had a lot of talent either. So it is kind of impressive that they muscled 9 wins out of the year.
They have an incredible offensive line.
Yeah, that's and so do the Lions. They obviously weren't healthy all at the same time for most of the year, but it's the dynamic and the decisions of Sirianni just. With especially running the ball. I think he hates running the ball so much.
And they're probably the best, in my opinion. They're probably, if they would commit to it, the best running team in the league.
Yeah, they've got so many pieces. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. They're all just guys that can carry the ball. And every time they've gotten the opportunity, they're popping 4.5, 5 yards a carry. So it's like they've relied so much on Jalen Hurts' arm. So I think the only way that this game changes is if the Bucs are prepared to stop Jalen Hurts' arm, and then they end up getting ran over. That's the only thing that this happens. So I
don't see that happening to that front either, though. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't see it either. And a very fast linebacker, and I think is Shaq Barrett's coming off IR.
I think he is.
That's another thing to keep an eye out on. And obviously, just hard to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs, man. So I think in a 2-7 game. And like seating wise, I don't think this is a game Tom Brady's prepared to lose. So I'm going to take the Bucs pretty confidently.
No, I mean the Bucs, they have their issues this year. A lot of them injury related.
A lot of them aren't on the team anymore.
Right, and some of them are just clinically insane. But I'm not gonna bet against Tom Brady right now. Gronk's coming along. I mean, he had 100 yards last game. Coming along, I shouldn't even say that. He's a million years old too. But they still have weapons. They're getting Scotty Miller back, working into the game plan a little bit more. Mike Evans is still a freak. You got Gronk. You got a couple different tight ends. You got, their backs are getting better. So I don't know. They're not getting Fournette back this week, though, are they?
I didn't see anything about Fournette coming back. No.
I knew he was trying to get back to the playoffs, but I don't think it'll matter regardless this game. So I'm actually more confident in this one than I am in even the Steelers and Chiefs game. So I think it'll be pretty dominating. Maybe not early, but in the end, I think it'll pull away pretty easily.